Well, a blind man could have seen this one coming. I'm a little bit confused at the timing of the announcement. You don't normally see a press release at 1 o'clock in the morning advising that you're firing your head coach mid-season, but at this point, who gives a shit? If you're a fan of the Jacksonville Jaguars, all you care about right now is the Urban Meyer nightmare is finally over. I have been watching the NFL, keeping up with the NFL over 25 years. I have seen a lot of bad coaching in that time. I mentioned Bobby Petrino the other day, one of the worst tenures in the history of the league. Matt Patricia, his tenure in Detroit, lasted far too long. It was disastrous. Of all the god awful head coaches in the NFL, Urban Meyer is by far the worst I have ever seen. Not only did he not have a clue about what the hell was going on the field, this dude was nothing but problems off the field. I keep repeating this point, but it's an important point. The NFL is the most competitive league in the country. The margin of error is razor thin. The Detroit Lions right now are the worst team in the league. They can beat any team any given Sunday. It's not like that in Major League Baseball or the NBA. The NBA, one superstar player can take you from being a lottery team to the NBA Finals. Because the NFL is so competitive, because the margin of error is razor thin, it is critical to minimize distractions. In his prime, Terrell Owens was arguably the best wide receiver in the league. He continued bouncing from team to team Niners, Eagles, Cowboys, Bengals. Why? He was a distraction. Pac-Man Jones, one of the better corners in the league. Same thing. Early in his career, he could not keep his ass out of handcuffs. The Titans, they got tired of dealing with it, the distractions. So off to Dallas he goes, stays one season. He becomes a suspect in a shooting outside of a strip club. I think it was in Las Vegas. The Cowboys say, thanks, no thanks. Service is no longer needed. Next thing you know, Pac Man Jones is out of the NFL for a year. As talented as he was, not one out of 32 teams was willing to give him a chance. Why? He was a distraction. Now, these are players that we're talking about. Players can be detrimental enough to the locker room, but when the distractions are coming from your head coach, it is not sustainable. It can't work. The head coach is supposed to be the stability, the calming voice, the motivator, the leader. He's not supposed to be the guy with the worst judgment on the team. It's tough firing a head coach mid-season, especially in his first year. Shad Khan still owes Urban Meyer millions of dollars, but sometimes it is better to spend money now to get out of a shitty situation than to allow it to continue and cost your franchise the next 5 years. The future of Trevor Lawrence is at stake here. This kid is 22 years old, showing a 57-year-old Urban Meyer how to be a leader. ESPN's reporting all season long, Trevor Lawrence has been begging for the drama to end in Jacksonville. He said that coming in, he knew the NFL was going to be more drama than college football. But what's gone down the last year in Jacksonville has been overwhelming for Trevor Lawrence. I understand why he feels this way. But the NFL is not more drama for 31 other teams. This has been an absolute culture shock for Trevor Lawrence. He came out of one of the most stable college football programs in the country, Dabo Swinney, a coach beloved by his players. Trevor Lawrence lost 2 games in 3 years at Clemson. He steps out of a diamond right into a shithole. As a rookie quarterback, it's all about the situation that you're drafted into. Unfortunately for Trevor Lawrence, he was drafted into the worst situation in the league. Think about all this kid's been through. Strength and conditioning coach resigns due to some pre existing racism scandal one day after he was hired. Now, oddly enough, Urban Meyer announced that he accepted this coach's resignation because he didn't want him to be a distraction to the team. How ironic. Then they bring in Tim Tebow, who overshadows Trevor Lawrence's first training camp, another distraction. Urban Meyer admits publicly that the vaccination status of players impacted his decision on whether or not to cut them. How stupid can you be to admit that publicly? And then, of course, you had the infamous video of Urban Meyer shaking his ass on some bar with a woman who appeared to be 30 years younger than him. There are reports of him calling his assistant coaches losers. Last Sunday in a press conference, he said anyone leaking the internal drama in Jacksonville in the locker room, anyone leaking that to the media, would be unemployed. All season, Urban Meyer has refused to accept responsibility. Instead, he has blamed everyone else for his failures. Wide receivers, defense, hell, after their game against the Titans week 5, he blamed his rookie quarterback. Jags had the ball near the goal line, 4th and inches. You have a quarterback, 6.5 feet tall, needing a few inches for a touchdown. You're trailing. What does Urban Meyer do? He runs Carlos Hyde up the middle for a 3-yard loss. When asked about it after the game, Urban Meyer said, Trevor isn't comfortable running a quarterback sneak. Now, this was obviously bullshit. Trevor Lawrence admitted as much. Of course, he was polite about it, but the point is, Urban Meyer has consistently blamed everyone else for his own shortcomings. Now, keep in mind, none of this was enough for Shad Khan to fire him. Patience is not always a good thing. Urban Meyer should have been fired 2 months ago, but it appears what finally pushed Shad Khan to cut his losses was a report that was released yesterday. According to the Tampa Bay Times, during the preseason, Urban Meyer forcefully physically kicked, veteran kicker Josh Lambo and said, hey, dipshit, make your fucking kicks. Now, maybe you can get away with that in bullying in college football. That doesn't work in the NFL. I'm surprised Urban Meyer didn't get his ass kicked for that. You don't speak to grown men that way. Now, you might can get away with that speaking to a 19-year-old college kid. A 19-year-old is still figuring things out, figuring out how things work. But you can't get away with speaking to a 31-year-old man that way. Bottom line is, Urban Meyer has been a disaster since day one. He never belonged in the NFL to begin with. Apparently, Shad Khan had been eyeing Urban Meyer for years. Why? Why? Who the hell knows? I can't figure it out. It speaks to a larger issue in Jacksonville. While firing Urban Meyer is definitely a step in the right direction, if you're a fan of the Jacksonville Jaguars, don't think this means your problems are leaving with Urban Meyer. The issues in Jacksonville are sitting in the owner's box. Urban Meyer should have never been hired. There's a reason no other NFL team gave him a look. Everywhere Urban Meyer goes, controversy follows. Controversial ending in Florida. Scandal ended his tenure at Ohio State. And now, scandal after scandal ends it in Jacksonville before he even completes one season. The easiest way to predict the future? Look to the past. Shad Khan is a billionaire. He should have known better. But like I said, this speaks to a bigger problem in Jacksonville. Since buying the Jaguars late in 2011, this team has had zero stability. The first 16 years of their existence, the Jaguars had 2 head coaches, Tom Coughlin, Jack Del Rio. 6 trips to the playoffs, 2 appearances in the AFC Championship game. In that time span, the Jags were 5 games above 500. Now contrast that with the last 9-10 years that Shad Khan is on this team. They're going on their 4th head coach. They've made the playoffs once. If they had competent play at the quarterback position in 2017, I think the Jags won the Super Bowl that year. Their defense was that good. Since Shad Khan bought this team, Jacksonville is 75 games under 500. They've had 1 winning season in 10 years. This is an ownership issue. Ask the Detroit Lions about ownership issues. They have been owned by the Ford family for decades, haven't won their division in damn near 30 years. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes in Jacksonville. I don't know if Shad Khan is clueless on how to run an NFL team. What I do know, when you have cycled through 8 quarterbacks and 4 coaches in 10 years, it is an ownership problem. Shad Khan made the right decision by firing Urban Meyer. I give him credit for that. That's step 1. The question is, will he make the right decision going forward? The career of Trevor Lawrence depends on it. If we go off the decisions Shad Khan has made in the past, the outlook doesn't look good. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think of the firing of Urban Meyer. And is there an ownership problem in Jacksonville? Do you agree? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com. KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.